Welcome to Mosaic Minds, the podcast where every episode is a colorful blend of perspectives, ideas, and conversation. Each week, our diverse team of hosts brings their unique backgrounds, experiences, and interests to the table. Mosaic Minds is your invitation to join the conversation to see the world through a kaleidoscope of viewpoints. So grab a seat, tune in, and let the mosaic unfold before you. All right. You ready?
Yep. Fire away.
Welcome to Mosaic Minds Podcast. Today we have our guest, Brian Roberts. Brian is an avid angler and outdoor videographer. His passions for nature and filmmaking intertwine seamlessly, which creates mesmerizing footage that transports viewers to the heart of the wilderness. From tranquil fishing expeditions to adrenaline-pumping racing experiences at the Indy 500 track, Brian's journey is a testament to the exhilarating beauty of the great outdoors. So join us as we welcome Brian Roberts. Thanks for being with us, Brian.
Hey, thanks. Glad to be here with you guys.
I know that Jason kind of wanted to discuss some Purdue basketball with you off the start, so I'll go ahead and let him go in.
Yeah, right after the go, both being about the same age and kind of growing up in Indiana, we've got great basketball, high school, pros, and the college. Talk to me a little bit about what you felt from being a diehard Purdue fan during that run this year. That was historical for you guys.
That was a really great run. Purdue's Achilles heel got them again, in my opinion. Weaker guard play killed them. I'll be real interested next year to see how Braden Smith operates and can he get his own shot without Zach Edey there. But yeah, they've got a bunch of talent coming in. They've got some talent on the bench. So it was a great run, and I think they can be a really good team next year. I think they're going to surprise a lot of people out of the gate of how good they really can be.
How did you first become a Purdue fan? Did you go to Purdue, or just kind of handed down in the family, or
both handed down in the family and graduate of Purdue? So
okay,
it's been a minute. It was actually part of the first intercollegiate bass tournament between Purdue and IU back. Was it '92?
Nice. Okay. Yeah, we had a
Zion Dunaway.
Yeah, Zion Dunaway on here last week. Yeah, so I guess he's on the bass team.
He actually gave you a nod in that, so that's awesome. Not you directly, but that tournament he actually paid homage to. So that's pretty cool there. I think for the Boilers next year, I'd have to agree with you, man. When you got all those guys coming back and you've made a deep run in that tournament, I think your heartbeats slow down. Your free throws at the end of the game aren't as pressuresome. So I got to agree with you. I think that deep run's going to pay some dividends for the guys that are coming back to West Lafayette next year.
I think Cam Heide is going to be outstanding. Miles Colvin should really blossom next year. They have two freshmen coming in, Catchings and Desari Harris from Georgia. Catchings played a while Noblesville, then he went to Academy down in Georgia, and Harris is from Georgia. They are both. Catchings is a 5-star recruit. Harris is a 4-star recruit. He's Glenn Robinson's son. Both very athletic, very well built. And Will Berg, the 7'3", 7'2" center that's sat on the bench for the last 2 years, is going to really surprise some people. He's not as big as Edey, but I mean, when you go up against the National Player of the Year for 2 years in practice, you've got to learn something, I hope. But he does have an outside shot. He can shoot a three very easy. Came out of high school shooting that. So I'm hoping Coach Painter can free up the style of play, let them play faster and looser instead of we've got to come down. One of my biggest knocks on Purdue basketball, if you ever go back and watch the games, the majority of the time when they bring the ball up, they're crossing the half court with 22 seconds left on the shot clock. They're taking 7, 8 seconds to get across half court. So you've given the defense time to go down, get set, and catch their breath. Where basketball has evolved into pushing it up and down, putting pressure on the defense. And so I'm hoping he can evolve, especially with the athletes he has, that he can loosen up his style of coaching and let them play a little bit better.
I'd agree with you, man. When you got some outside 3-point shooters and some guys that want to just drive and kick, it forces the defense to pick your poison, man. You're either going to stop going to the rack or you're going to have to open up a three. The rim runner in the middle that's a 3 or 4 that's athletic, what you guys have always had you do. So let's transition a little bit here. Let's go away from the Boiler basketball. So I know that was huge for you. Talk to us a little bit about non-fishing outdoors activities that you do. You seem to be outdoors. I know you're going mushroom hunting from what you had said maybe a little bit later on, but just talk to us a little bit about activities away from fish, and then we'll get to fishing here in a few minutes.
Everybody, I think, ought to be outdoors watching something. Slow down your life, get out. I don't care if you're watching some birds out there, getting out of the country, watching, hearing about the next month or so, the fox pups, the kits will start coming out. And if you can ever get out and watch some fox kits just running around, it's a ball. With today's social media and everything going 100 miles an hour, get out and relax. It's so relaxing. They'll save you a ton of money on therapy, and it's a center. I can go out fishing, hunting, just go walk through the woods, and okay, when I get back, I've got less troubles than when I left.
What's funny is even like even the big tech guys, they even do their technology detox thing. So they basically do what you're saying to stay away from their own products. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. We've got a family place up on Lake Freeman that we have cable but no internet. And I love it. My phone sometimes gets service, sometimes it doesn't. I don't care. Leave me a message. I'll get with you when I get back. And hey, I'm going to go unwind. And if it's that much of an emergency, find somebody else to handle it. There's got to be somebody else who can deal it. And I'm good. I'm out.
Have you always had a passion for the outdoors? Did you grow up kind of like in the country, or?
I grew up in the country. Have always enjoyed the outdoors, following Dad around. I remember him, deer hunting at times, taking me out and just setting me up in a tree. Here, you sit there, and I'll be back in a little bit. Rabbit hunting, just out, mushroom hunting. We're fortunate up here, just outside of Lafayette. We've got several small little creeks you can get in and wade and fish. You can get in. We used to ride our bikes about a mile down and walk back, and they had a swimming hole. You just jump in, and we'd go swim there half the day and then come home. You put me in a city and I go nuts. I can't handle it. They get me away from people and where I can unwind and find out what really matters then. Yeah, there's more to do outdoors than just hunting or fishing. Go kayaking. Go up. Yeah, get on a nature trail and just go walk. Walk through, Hoosier National Forest and go see the sights. I found once somebody normally finds something, hey, look at that. That's neat. Oh, hey, look, I found an arrowhead. Hey, I found a mushroom. Great. I want to go do this. Doesn't cost me anything, and it's relaxing. And more people like that than not, I think. I mean, people pay big money to go on nature hikes and get back to nature. There's a reason for it.
I always tell Nick, when you travel on the weekend to go visit family or you're out in the country, I've got some family down in Kentucky in the kind of the horse racing districts, and you're driving on a 1.5 lane road and you're pulling off and putting one wheel in the ditch and somebody's tipping their cowboy hat at you. I mean, I got to be honest with you, man, those people are phenomenal people. and you couldn't believe how refreshed you are, even though you're tired on a Sunday night / Monday morning. And it's good to see God's country and just be out, traveling, moving around. I agree with you, man. I got neighbors right on top of me where I live, but at the same time, I would prefer to at least be around a retention pond to where nobody can bother me, nobody can talk to me. I'm leaving the cell phone at the house, and if you need to get a hold of me, tough luck over that 2 to 3 hours. They're even in the neighborhood.
You grew up on a farm, right?
I did.
See, and with me. I've pretty much always been in the suburbs, so I feel like I could adapt to either one. I like to be in nature, but at the same time, like I don't mind the city, But I don't know. I just I do love to kayak. I like the canoe. I've never been hunting, but it's not because I don't want to. I've just never, the opportunity has never presented itself. I've never had anybody been like, hey, you want to go hunting? So,
Now, Brian, if I'm not mistaken, you like chop some wood and things like that, so you're more than just an outdoorsman. I think you're kind of functional and outdoorsy, right?
Yeah, I've got a couple more trees. I've got to drop down some ash trees that have died. I'll drop those and cut those up and get those ready for the fireplace. For next winter, here you go. So I've got to till the garden up. Love having a garden. I'm not a big tomato eater. I'm not, but I'll have 6 or 8 tomato plants. And hey, who wants a tomato?
I was going to say they're good to give away, Makes you a popular neighbor.
Bring you some. Here you go. And like Jason's talking about, the guys tipping their hats. You drive down, and I was always taught, hey, you see somebody out, you wave.
Exactly.
You may not know them. You just wave, and
That's
90% of the time they're going to wave back. You have a problem, they'll come out and help you. Here you go. What do you need?
Thought about that.
I do that for my son in Plainfield. We'll be driving past the park, and I'll just nod or wave at somebody on a bike or wave them on, and he just thinks that's weird. And I'm like, dude, that's what you do. That's how I was raised. In my neighborhood, I don't know if I've ever told you this, but in my neighborhood we had, we grew potatoes, we had turkeys, we had ducks, we had geese, we had chickens. We'd normally have 1 or 2 cows. So I like to say I grew up on a farm, but we weren't farmers, if that makes sense, because I don't want to overbill it. But we had about 3 acres of what I would consider to be tillable land or, baling hay land. Definitely not alfalfa because we weren't that concerned because we didn't have enough, livestock to do that. So just so the audience knows, we've known each other for years going to these shows and stuff. And I was actually telling Nick something hopefully to make you laugh a little bit, but based on your stature, just so everybody knows, I'm 6'2" and I've eaten a few buffets in my day, but Brian's a bigger guy than that. Brian, your stature, what are you, height and weight? Just so the audience kind of knows because you're sitting down.
6'4", and unfortunately up to about 250.
Okay, sorry about, I didn't want you to have to disclose the weight, but point I'm making to you fans, like I always try to walk about 2 steps behind Brian, and he could tell you some funny stories on a different topic, but just kind of a no-nonsense guy, likes to treat people with respect, but I've seen him, if somebody's treating him with disrespect, he quickly is not afraid to kind of set him in the right path. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Let's not sugarcoat it. You called him an asshole right before the show, so I'm just kidding.
Hey, I'll be the nicest guy, but if the asshole needs to come out, I'm going to be an asshole and get my point across.
That's fair. Yeah.
There you go.
I mean,
you are opinionated, but I think what I'm trying to say about you, as we've got to be buddies over the years, it's kind of common sense. I'm willing to listen to you, but if you're going to be arrogant, I think you're going to knock them down and say, hey, this is how we do it around here, which is just be nice to everybody.
Yeah, and you've probably seen some of the posts on Facebook. A certain individual likes to try to chomp at me. And I get tired of it. It's like, run your mouth all you want, but we're going to set it straight here. And normally I find when you set them straight, when you come back at them, they get mad that you've pointed out that they're wrong, and they even come back more mad.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
All logic out of the way here, so I don't want to be too controversial with you, but I just saw another video posted today that really bothered me. I'm going to have you speak on a random topic that we've never really discussed face-to-face. So a guy's fishing in a little inlet, and you know where I'm going with this already before I even ask you, but he's just fishing, trying to be nice, flipping around the guy's docks, and the guy takes these rocks or landscaping type bigger pebbles, I would call them, and he starts chucking them in the water, obviously to spook the fish around him. And the guy starts yelling, what's your opinion or maybe your interaction with a guy I don't want to give you your coordinates too much, but you do some smallmouth fishing in northern Indiana. Have you ever ran into anybody that's kind of over the top or protective about the area? And what's your overall thoughts of that person, I guess?
I had one landowner come down and yell at me for fishing too close to his dock. And he tried to spout off all these laws, and he was going to call the DNR and game warden on me. I said, okay, I'll sit here, call them. I said, I'm fine with it. But when they show up, just understand you're getting a ticket because I'm doing nothing illegal. Then he huffed and puffed a little bit more, and it came out that his wife was sunbathing on the dock earlier, and she was in a real skimpy bikini, and two guys went by fishing. And he got mad about it. I said, well, you bought property on a lake. You're not going to stop people from fishing. You got two options. Don't worry about it, or don't let your wife out of the house.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And then I was the asshole again because I put it that bluntly to him. But most people where I fish are okay. You get up to a couple of northern lakes and some will get upset. Most guys don't have a problem with it anymore, but there are some. I've seen a video where they've got a motion sensor on their dock for a sprinkler system. So the sprinkler kicks on. Anybody gets too close. I'll put up with a little bit, but hey, I carry a 50-pound braid with me and a big stiff rod for a reason too. That sprinkler can end up in the water very easily. So
yeah, I think you're cut out of the same mold. If the same guy asks, hey man, I got a lady that's sunbathing here, or a young lady, hey, no big deal. That dock wasn't all that important anyway. I might just take a couple casts and keep on going. But if you're going to be jerk about it, I'm not afraid to lock horns. But kind of on a lighter topic here, you like to chase smallmouth, and I know you have a charity tournament, and I really want to give you some accolades for that charity tournament. Tell us a little bit about the tournament, why it started, maybe how many years you've done it.
It's a juvenile diabetes benefit tournament. After my dad loved to chase smallmouth. Loved to catch them up on Lake Freeman. Was a wildcat. If he could go somewhere and catch smallmouth, he would like to go. When he passed, I wanted to do something, and my nephew was diagnosed at 3.5 with juvenile diabetes. So I'm like, hey, the first couple of years I ran it for another buddy whose brother had passed away and left he had two boys that my buddy was taking care of then. So I was helping raise money for them. Then my nephew got diagnosed, so I just turned it over made it a juvenile diabetes benefit tournament. Have every fall. It's borderline. I'm getting 20 or 20 some boats in it. Good time. It's laid back. I normally have a lot of door prizes. Jason's giving me a lot of stuff with bowling. I had another guy bought 2 reels and donated 2 reels to me, but everybody's always coming up and giving stuff. The marina I normally have it at, I talked to them and said, listen, I'm bringing you 20 boats for a ramp fee. Can you donate a ramp pass one year? Who donated a $175 ramp pass that the guys loved. Most of them love it, have a good time. It's like I said, it's laid back. I'm normally out both fishing and taking pictures of guys while they're fishing. First couple of times I did that, guys got a little bit nervous that, well, you're showing my spots. Well, there are no real secret spots on this lake. And if you don't want me to, I won't post them. Just tell me, hey, don't post that picture there. And most of them said, well, you're right. It's okay. Go ahead. And
So did they know you were doing it for a charity?
yeah, they were fishing my tournament. And then on my Facebook page, I'll normally post all the pictures and have the guys' weights and all that stuff.
Oh, okay.
So,
Gotcha.
I guess it's feast or famine, Brian, on that. As well as I do. I've traveled a little bit. I'm nothing special, nor do I care as a co-angler because I can't control that spot anyway. But you got one obsession or another. You got a guy trying to black out the trees so you have no idea where he is. or you've got a guy coming in. Here's another funny topic, and I don't want to discuss it a whole lot, but I'm hearing on Gunnersville sometimes they've got the drones that are flying around, and those are actually other fishermen kind of zooming in on the baits and the depths and the stuff like that, which just blows my mind. It's almost laughable to me.
It's funny. I tell this to a buddy of mine. Most guys anymore cannot find their own fish. They're always what I call bent rod pattern. Hey, somebody's caught one over there. Let's go over where he's at because there must be fish there.
Yeah.
And Indiana is really bad about that. They're bad. I was on Wheeler, fishing a Fishermen regional, and I'd rolled into a spot in the morning, fish this little pocket, and two old guys from Kentucky were fishing a ways away from me, and they watched me catch 2 limits of bass. They were all cookie cutter, just keepers, and I'm like, I got to go find bigger fish. So I left. Was coming back in the afternoon, and fully expected them to be overfishing that area. And I missed the channel by about 2 feet and stuck the boat on a gravel bar. So I was trying to back it off, and finally I had to get in to walk it off the gravel bar, and those 2 old guys come over and asked me if I needed help. I said, no. I said, I expected when I rolled back in here that you guys would be over there and wearing those fish out. The guy looked at me and says, we didn't find those fish. We weren't going to go fish them. I'm like, I respect that. You can watch somebody whacking beside you. Hey, we didn't find those. He left. We're not going to go over and try to catch them. Here in Indiana, if you catch a fish or 2 and somebody sees you and you leave, they're going to be right there on that spot before you get on pad. So it's respect in fishing is few and far between anymore, it seems like, unfortunately. That's a shame.
If somebody wants to get involved in your tournament, is that on your website or?
It's on my Facebook.
Okay.
This year I've got 2 open dates I'm trying to decide between October 20th or October 26th on Lake Freeman. I'll get Jason a link, and
okay,
it's a good time. Most guys anymore, they know about it. I draw, like I said, about 20 boats. Edit. If I could draw half the clique from Monticello, I could have 30 or 40 boats. But it's a really cliquish, and we don't want to support him because of whatever. Because I've probably been an asshole to him once.
Yeah. Yes. Screw the kids with the diabetes. You know what I mean? Like.
Exactly. I'm too important for that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think there's a lot of good experiences. I think just being out in the serenity and in the nature, like you said, the national forest. I mean, I drove through a national forest in Indiana for probably 10 miles. I can't even really tell you where I was, but it's just, I've seen bald eagles grab shad in front of us, largemouth bass in front of us. When I can't catch them, the eagles seem to be able to know where they are. I've seen a little mink grab a bass and drop it on the rocks until the bass stopped breathing, then it came back and got it. I mean, just stuff like that. You don't see, and you're just refreshed and you do it. So outside of fishing, what do you feel like is your second or maybe your third favorite thing that you would prefer to be doing?
I enjoy deer hunting, but it's gotten nuts in the state too. I'm really into coyote hunting. I really love, because again, I can be out. Most guys are out of the woods when I'm hunting. So I've got it to myself. I really enjoy, instead of sitting there, okay, when's the deer going to walk by me? I got to wait. I'm out trying to call a coyote, trying to draw them to me to shoot them. And that's always fun, watching them bound in and watching them hang out and start looking around, try to figure out what's going on, and then dart around or circle or whatever they do. It's always fun watching those.
If you were to have and I'm sure you've had these before, but if you were to have a conversation with someone and you were trying to do it in a, in a civil way that was trying to argue the whole, like, you shouldn't hunt, you shouldn't, kill animals, that kind of thing. What would be your response to them, to give them a logical, because some things they're just not going to get, like, it's all right to do that, this and that, but what would be what would be a logical answer you give to them that they could maybe understand?
A true outdoorsman, a true hunter, their job is to keep nature in balance, to help keep the peace more than likely. Try not to let the deer get overpopulated and have food shortages and them starve and them go through that. Or try to keep the coyotes down so the rabbits and turkey and quail can help populate. And they're kind of the shepherd. An outdoorsman is kind of the shepherd of nature, trying to help guide it along and keep it where it goes.
I was gonna say, because most hunters, most anybody that does any kind of outdoor sport, are very much conservationists. Like they're and they love animals. Like, it has nothing to do. It's not like they're out there with an Uzi. You know what I mean? Like they love animals.
Deer hunting has got to the point where some guys are just, hey, it's brown, we're going to shoot it. We don't care. Look at me, I killed a deer.
Okay.
Well, good for you.
Yeah.
But the guys who really hunt, on my outdoor page, Facebook page, I've got videos of I got deer walking underneath me, them, me on the ground hunting, and them walking 15 yards from me, and I could have shot any of them, but they weren't the ones I was really looking for or wanted to shoot. So
right, you weren't just trying to kill something. Like
I'm not there to kill something.
Yeah,
I'm there to watch everything and B, harvest a nice mature animal. So there are different thoughts, and it's kind of like society today. Everybody wants to be that instant gratification, instant hero. Oh, look at me, I'm special. So
yeah, I think bass fishing is unique in that aspect too, because some of our people that are listening are musicians, for instance, right? Because we got different crowds that listen to this, but I think there's something to be said for bass fishermen that catch and release, because I think we all agree that that's cool that the next generation or the next 3 years, that thing's now a wall hanger, as opposed to me I don't want to say slaughtering, but me harvesting a 4.5 pound smallmouth that's perfectly fine, that's not really old. It's just so I think that's a cool aspect about most bass fishing tournaments that launch in the state.
Or the 8-pounder that was caught on Monroe.
Yep.
Yeah. Supposedly that got released alive. Yep. Good for him.
Yep.
I mean, that's a 10-year-old fish.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. He doesn't have a lot left in it, but if he gets 2 more spawns out of it, good. So, and you've heard some of the guys talk about, there's been a lot of talk about wanting the DNR to stock Monroe and Patoka with smallmouth. Both lakes have a good population of, you don't get an 8-pound fish without a population of that fish. That fish has survived. It's had, depending on the study you listen to, 4 to 8 cycles of spawning. So it's produced some fish, and there's more than just that one in there. I think those fish live differently than different fish in different bodies of water. So that's why guys don't catch them unless it's in the spring when those fish are up to spawn, or in the fall when they're chasing shad and guys are keyed in on those shad. So
well, let's talk a little bit about your videography, because that's whenever I first talked to Jason, I was like, okay, so tell me a little bit about Brian. He's like, well, he's a he's a videographer for outdoors kind of things and all that. So what got you into that, and what is it exactly that you like to do or that you do with that?
It was fun videoing some of me trying to help somebody else along. It's where it started. You can turn on any TV or turn on the Outdoor Network on Saturday or Sunday and see all sorts of fishing shows or hunting shows. The hunting shows, and Jason can kind of tell you about the story about this, but most of them are outfitters that have a good deer, let's say, pattern. they know when it's coming by and what stand it needs to be hunted. They'll call the uh, star and say, "Hey, I've got this deer, good one. Come out and do a video on it." You know, there's a guy hunting for 3 days and kills a really good deer. That does not happen very rarely. Normally, it's a lot of legwork, a lot of scouting, a lot of where to put stands, how to read what you got to do. So my first thought was, hey, I'm going to help people do this and help people enjoy the outdoors. You know, a lot of guys aren't going to go fish tournaments. They want to go out and catch something. Hey, am I going to catch a catfish, a bluegill, a carp, a bass? They don't care. They want to get started fishing. So I was trying to get all this going on how to do all this. The hardest part's been trying to film it myself. Hopefully, I think this year I've got a couple videographers that will be able to help with me. I can do 2 different camera shoots, 2 different angles, which then I can put shows together, which then there's an outside shot I can get them on, at least local networks, the local cable network up here, and hopefully get either picked up or buy a time slot somewhere and start putting my own shows on TV.
Do you do the YouTube thing at all? Like, do you have a YouTube channel?
I have a little bit, haven't started, haven't dove into it a whole lot. That's the goal, to get everything up to that point, to get where I've got them on YouTube, doing some live stuff like this, some talks and interviews, and then have other videos. Hey, we're going to go fish. We're going to go fish the Boeing top water bait today.
Yeah, I think that, because I really think that could do good. I said it's such a niche thing that I think you could get some good viewers on YouTube.
You got a good network, Brian, but Nick would be a good kind of freelancer for you here and there. You know, come up your way, vice versa. I think any way we can help you out, and vice versa. You know, getting in front of some new audience, make some calls. He could do some videography. We'd love to team up on that way.
Jason, we were up at the DNR show in Kalamazoo, and can't remember if it was a Garmin rep or what rep was there. He got talked about me because I was videoing some of the pros, doing little videos.
That was the Garmin
pros.
rep. Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about.
And he asked what I was doing, so I told him, and he said he wished me luck trying to get this going. He said the industry's tired of the canned hunts, or hey, we're going down to this stocked small lake to put on a fishing show. They want real, honest shows. Which is good and bad is, in the end, you go out and you try to go fishing one day, you might wreck them. You go out another day and it might be a tough bite. So it's a little bit of a challenge in trying to get people free enough times and schedules lined up is one of the biggest challenges there is.
So it sounds like the big difference is that when you watch those hunting shows, like you said, they know it's coming, so it's already kind of set up. But with yours, your focus is outdoors and just nature. And if something happens to come by and you happen to get it, then that's just kind of like that might be the surprise hook of the episode.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Exactly.
That's a great idea.
The story that I'm going to brag about Brian, and he had the similar experience as me, is we went up to the fishing show at the Van Dams there at, is it called DNR up there, Brian? Outdoors?
DNR Sports, yes.
DNR Sports in Kalamazoo, Michigan?
Yes.
So we're like the small guys, right? And he's a little bit further up the path than I am with the media and stuff. But anyway, we're just interacting and stuff, and I never will forget this. They gave us the 24 stickers, and they said that'll last the weekend. In other words, we're just setting up in their store that's already there. And we blew through 24, asked for another 24, and they said that'll definitely last you. We blew through all those. And then we sold 6 or 8. And then, Brian, I'm going to let you tell the story because I don't want to overdo it, but I'm going to cue you up a little bit. Am I wrong to say that you made 2 phone calls and sold 2 boats for them on that Saturday?
Yes. Happened to be a guy,
I thought for sure you sold one that was an entry level, and then you sold one that was a really high dollar boat in my eyes.
I had Yeah, it was a guy I knew walked in. He was bringing his boat in for some work. He had tore the transom out of it,
Yep.
and he was talking. He was needed another boat to fish out of till his was fixed. So I happened to know another buddy that was looking to sell his boat. So I called him and said, "Hey, I got a guy looking for a boat here. You know, he'll take yours." He was actually, he told me later, they were actually at dinner, had just walked into their restaurant to eat. He said, told his wife and kids, "We got to go. We got to get home. Somebody's coming to buy the boat." So they left, bought that boat. The sales manager there at DNR told the guy that was there, said, "Hey, if you don't buy that boat, I'm going to tell him to bring it up here and I'm buying it from him right now." And they had a Ranger, I think it was, that my buddy wanted. So yeah, he ended up there and bought the Ranger off of them the next day then too. So yeah, I sold two boats up there and
Hope you got some commission out of that.
a big fat zero.
Well, I do think, though, Brian, in their defense, though, let's be honest, I think they thought that we were kind of a little bit more than nobodies, if you will. I'm not calling us nobodies, but I'm saying I think they really respected us because, A, we drove them commerce, B, we outsold all the small vendors there, and C, I think they appreciated what we did and what we stood for, and you got some good media there. So I think, a job well done for both of us that weekend.
I think it helped a lot. And I'll give you credit here. You're in the booth, you're talking, you're not. A lot of guys just want to yuck it up and, "Oh, look at me. I'm here to show. Good for me." You're there as a business. And when I'm in your booth with you, I'm there for you. It's business. Now, you'll joke around and talk some, but hey, we're there for a reason. A, to sell lures, and B, to make, either if we're at an independent show for you, make you money, or like DNR to move product so they can make money and everybody wins. And I think they liked that, hey, we're not there just slap happy and
Yeah, we're not out watching the guy talking about other stuff. We're there at the booth working.
Yeah.
Even if the store's empty because everybody's listening to Star, we're there still trying to help on their behalf. So I think it was really good. So let's wrap us up with this, Brian. If someone wants to find you or network with you or causes that you may have, where would they go online, social media, to find you and kind of seek you out and network with?
Easiest way is to find me on Facebook, Brian Roberts Outdoors. You'll see the JDRF sticker and probably a group picture of the smallmouth tournament. That's the easiest way to get in touch with me. I try not to be tied to social media. So if somebody wants to get a hold of me, if I don't get back with you right away, understand that I'm not ignoring you. I'm just not living on Facebook. I'm out doing something. I'm out in the woods doing something else, and I'll get with you when I can. And
Is that on your Facebook page? Is there a spot for somebody to click on to sign up for that tournament?
No, they can just follow me, and I'll put the post on there, and they'll see it that way. Is the easiest, and it'll normally go out. I'm going to try a couple of new things this year. Last couple times we've had a lot of wind. It's been really, really windy at weigh-in. But I'm going to try to have my camera and try to get it all set up where I can actually live stream the weigh-in for people who aren't there. I don't know if I'll live stream it to Facebook or to YouTube. But I'm going to have it live, try to have it live streamed. And it's good and bad because, as Jason knows, some of the guys don't watch their language the best at tournaments.
Yeah.
So I've got to kind of ease out a little bit. But
well, the good thing though is if you're doing it with the phone, it won't be. It's not like you're out there, big movie camera. You know what I mean. If it's with the phone, you can kind of be a little bit covert. But there's just to kind of help you out. There's a program or an app called Restream, and if you go through there, you can actually stream to both at the same time, however many platforms you want to stream to at the same time. So that way, you're only having to use the one device. So you might try
Okay.
that. What
I
is your
appreciate it.
YouTube channel? Is it also Brian Roberts Outdoors?
Outdoors. Yeah, there's not a whole lot on it. I think there's me fixing a trolling motor and a couple other little things. I haven't been as diligent with
Well,
that.
at least maybe we can get you some early subscribers or something like that. So
All right, not a problem. So
Yeah, I want to tip my cap to you, Brian. You've always been real humble with me. It's not a secret, man. My knowledge of fishing is probably behind where it should be at my age because I just started out in the tournaments. But I'm here to tell you that I'm out there. I mean, I put in 15,000 plus miles on the road, so I'm grinding. I'm getting my bait out there. I'm fishing. I'm meeting new people. You know, anything we can do to help with your platform, let us know. Anything Nick can do, kind of freelance or just to help and support your initiatives. You know, we're all for it. You're high class. I really like your attitude, and I really like that you go to tournaments. And I don't want to say you're dressed like you are, but you're one of those guys that just kind of shows up for a tournament, and you're more about the tournament and what it means than kind of the stuff and the peripherals around it. And I've always respected that about you.
thank you.
The jerseys or whatever. Like what do you say? What do you say? You guys call them guys? Or wait, can you say it on that podcast? Is
I
that
think
okay?
you're a patch. I think you name them patch pirates, but I call them logo lizards. We've had some good discussions over those people over the years. So that's always fun.
But there's an individual that hates it when I call him a patch pirate. And he'll tell you, oh, well, the pros don't mind. They'll tell you it's good. And I'm like, yeah. You talk to a pro to the face, with you got your jersey on, he's going to tell you, sure, go ahead. Good for you.
Are you getting paid?
No.
Exactly.
But behind the scenes, they get frustrated because that's how they're making a living. Everybody thinks that the pros make money off the fishing tournaments. That is not the case.
Yeah.
They get paid by sponsors. That's their main income. The tournament winnings are just secondary income. Yeah. So when they see guys run around with patches for, oh, hey, I got 10 or 15% off their base to wear this patch. Well, this company pays me $40,000 a year.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly.
Now they're not going to pay me.
Yeah.
Because my nephew fishes for the Purdue Club. He was real nervous last year. They had a company call him, wanted to sponsor the Bass Club, was going to give them a significant amount of money, and wanted to have somebody's boat wrapped. Well, my nephew was kind of nervous. The other kid didn't want it, so my nephew said, yeah, go ahead and wrap mine. And he told me, he says, I don't know what everybody's going to think about me having a wrapped boat. I said, here's the difference. Somebody paid you money to have their name on your boat.
Mm-hmm.
These guys are paying money to put names on their boat.
To make them look like that they're pros.
Yes. I said, there's a huge difference there. So I'm going to give a shout out to Bridgeford Jerky, big sponsor of Purdue Bass Fishing. So they do well. And I'm going to toot my horn a little bit. I've got some things in the works. Jason knows about it. I'm going to try to come out with my own reel lines and some own tackle. One baitcaster reel, I've been ordering samples and getting samples, trying to figure out what I like and what I want to sell. I've got a spinning reel I like. It's going to be, this is 11 ball bearing, 12 ball bearing, and it's going to be $70. Very top end, $70. And that'll include shipping, taxes, everything, no extra fee. Here you go. But one of the baitcast reels I looked at, I didn't like. I'm like, it just doesn't feel quite right. I saw a name brand company. I'd love to order one because it looks identical to it. They had this reel I was going to sell for about $65, $70, $140 through them. Now I'm like, wait a second, I can start saving guys half price and they're getting the same quality equipment. I don't make a whole lot, but I make little. They save money. They're happy. Everybody's happy. And so that's in the works, trying to get a few things lined out, and hopefully within the next couple, 3 months that comes through. So,
and I would assume that'll be on your Facebook page.
That'll be on my Facebook page. It'll maybe another complete page I've got a company name that I've liked that I'm gonna keep it quiet for right now, but that I'm gonna keep, and hopefully, and like Jason knows, the hardest thing starting is marketing and getting your name out. That is so I've lined up some deals for that, I hope, and I'm gonna try to start saving some people some money on fishing equipment. So
Yeah, we'll have you back on as your official launch or whatever. Once you go live, we'll have you back on for a mini and shoot that out and help you out. I mean, we've got a decent following, but I think it's just helping people that are good for the sport and trying to grow for the right reasons. I think that's the important thing overall.
okay, yeah. And if anybody's looking to get in a band, I know guys looking to start another band.
What kind of band?
He likes some of the older rock, some of the heavier stuff.
Okay.
He's looking for a bassist, a drummer, and vocals, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. I might be curious. Not that I have time to be in a
We'll
band.
comment when we post this. We're gonna have a comment below. Maybe we'll tease that a little bit, or Nick has the ability to do stuff better than I can do, and maybe
different stuff. I would
snippet that 1 minute that he just said that, and maybe get some people interested.
So don't shortchange yourself. You can do plenty of things that I can't do. So
So
all right, guys. Hey, it's been a blast.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, and you guys enjoy your day. I'm gonna go try to pick some mushrooms.
All right, man.
I'm jealous, man. Find some and let us know how you did, man.
I will do that.
All right, take care.
All right,
Thanks. We'll see ya.
Yeah, talk to you soon.
Bye.